Right. Okay. So come back. So budgetary control, the objectives to ensure that all expenditures are in line with the budgeted amount and the level of activities envisaged in the budgets are achieved. Okay. So you can see how important it is because I think if you understand line item budgeting, so every general object there is allocation, every activity there is allocation. Okay, every program there is allocation. Okay, so that must be utilized. And of course, the level of allocation representing the level of activities, right? So because the resources reflected in the level of salary, supplies, level of assets and procurements, that will all related to main operation of the agencies or branch office at the state level. And programs that have been undertaken by ministries, by the agencies. Okay, so the activities will be supported with the funding of budget with the budget. The activities of budgetary control, record keeping of expenditures via vote books. Okay, so traditionally, for the recording of the budget, they call it vote books. Okay. So that's why I think budget item also they call it based on the vote. And of course nowadays it's online. Okay, it's a computer system. But the idea of vote book I think gradually is still being used as a part of technical terms with regards to budgetary control. Develop relevant expenditure reports, including report as required by the Treasury circulars. Okay, so expenditure reports showing, I mean, it's just like a management accounts. So every month, normally the books will be updated and the report will be produced. Okay, similarly in the case of the government, right? And of course, following the Treasury circulars, it means that not only they use that for internal use for the budget holders, will also have to share them with the parent ministry as well as the Treasury. Okay, because the preparation at the agency level, at the responsibility center level, because they have the details, okay? So what need to be reported. Okay, reporting, analyzing, and providing feedbacks. Okay, so that's the purpose of providing the accounts. And similar to preparing a reporting of management accounts that's in the private sector entities. Okay, so these are for the internal use purposes. So that's why I think the ability of the accountants to analyze, okay, to highlight trends and future issues, that is very important. Okay, and that's why I think the understanding of what you learn in terms of technical knowledge that is in the management accounting or financial reporting to blend the environment, the business environment, the operational matters with the budget, okay, and also with the financial performance of the organizations. So this can highlight, okay, how well they are performing, right? So these are activities. Features of effective budgetary control. Okay, so you look at this. The first one, collection of data, both inputs and outputs, is initiated at the lowest level of activity. So generally, lowest level of activity that is can have need to prepare the budget report or expenditure report is at the cost center, okay, or responsibility center more generally. Okay, responsibility center. I think the word responsibility center, you learn this in DMC if you're not mistaken. Okay, or we call it SBU. SBU, isn't it? Accounting for SBUs or something. Do you still use the same language, accounting for SBUs or responsibility centers? Which one? Anyone would like to share? Okay, yeah, right. So if you understand accounting for SBUs, if you remember cost center, revenue centers, okay, so similar in this case, okay, is responsibility centers. In Malay, they call it PTJ, Pusat Tanggungjawab. Okay, so it's a common term used. So like definitely URA is a big PTJ. Yeah? Within the university also they have responsibility centers. It means that it's a a center which receive budget allocation, and they have to report the progress. Okay, so in that, if you look at cost centers, can be expense, but responsibility centers can also include profit and investment. Okay, and this is also applicable to definitely Malaysian government, because Malaysian government is heavily involved in the business. The structural responsibility centers correspond with the program or activity structures of the organization. Okay, so it means that because budget is allocated based on program and activity, so generally it's kind of expected that those program and activities also have responsibility center status. Okay, that time we see what capabilities or autonomy that a responsibility center has. Information on budget position must be relevant and timely, as well as sufficient. Include causes of variances. Okay, I think that's definitely. I think generally monthly is quite for financial information, including budget. Monthly is quite sufficient. And exactly, and actually, for the Treasury Circular, it is required that they prepare the accounts for every month for the expenditure report. Controllable and non-controllable expenditures can be categorized separately if practicable. Okay, so these are particularly important for responsibility centers, where if you want to hold the budget holders or the managers of the responsibility centers to be accountable, so in the sense that they must be, all the expenses, costs under them are controllable costs. Okay, I think that's, I mean, you can apply this understanding what you learn in costing for this, for budgetary control. Right, now we look at first type of responsibility centers, okay, as a structure for budgetary control, okay, cost center. Most common type of responsibility centers in public services. So what it means that, okay, I think all ministries are basically cost centers, okay, and even government departments, government agencies, their statutory bodies, most of them, they are cost centers. That's why they receive funding, are highly dependent on the government allocation for them to operate. Okay, but I mean, because they cannot charge the price to the customers, because all the services are heavily subsidized and almost free. Okay, I think the simple example that is our university, for Malaysian. For international students now is quite expensive. I mean, the university they increase the fees, but for local students, still I think the price is heavily subsidized. I think even in your letter of offer, they will highlight, how much it costs to the Malaysian government and how much you pay. Okay. So because we receive allocation, so that to operate the university as a whole, so the cost is much more than what we can generate, because of our the nature of public service is much greater. Okay, so that's why a cost center is the most common type of centers in the government. Okay, having said that, it doesn't mean that government they are not developing areas that can generate income. They do. They do. Okay, either they translate or transform all these activities into companies, and then to the extent that they're pushing all these activities or companies to be privatized. Okay, even in Malaysia, they don't move to fully privatization. Okay, the companies are fully owned by the government, but they have that flexibilities as a private company. Okay, so you can see, we'll see later on. Okay, a big example like Petronas, TNB, okay, Sam Darby, okay, mostly are wholly owned by the government. Department and statutory bodies generally hold cost center status, okay, as I mentioned. Cost center at the ministry level or within government agencies under the ministries, okay, they're also possible. Because cost center within the ministries, okay, departments are basically cost center for ministries, okay, and within ministries, of course, as well as statutory bodies, just that the manner they receive allocation a bit different. Costs are allocated to the appropriate cost center for the purpose of budget allocation and budgetary control. So you can see that once cost center. So cost center, basically the manager is the budget holder. The manager of the cost center or the responsive centers, generally once they receive a location for them to manage, they are basically budget holders. Okay. Information on costs help to determine unit cost of products, services, or activities. So since their main they are stated at cost center, so unit costs, okay, based on accrual accounting, okay, become essential for them to determine how efficient they are. Okay, total cost, these are an example, how they can determine their unit costs. But definitely, as you are being trained as a accounting, and in the future you become accountant, right? So your knowledge of understanding of how to develop the right measures for unit cost of services, okay, that definitely is very important, because the focus will be useful information and for the use of the users, okay, to be able to be flexible and to provide relevant information to the managers is very important. Okay, it's important in private sector or companies. It's also important for the government entities. Okay, unit cost of product and services useful for efficiency consideration. Take that into account. Okay, and try to get more understanding. Okay, basically, I think if you look at efficiency, it's input over outputs, isn't it? So, and you can get the benefit. But of course, in government, still, it's a big challenges. And later, I think in the previous class, we did mention about the implementation of activity-based costing. Okay, so that also will help sophistication of the how to report the cost of the services. Okay, and to what extent that it becomes useful. I think these are still unexplored areas that need to be more studies in this, so that how government manages all this with this, cost information, they can make better decisions. Useful decision making and control, the knowledge of different type of cost is essential. Okay, I think as you learned in costing, okay, like marginal costing and others. If the center have identifiable and measurable outputs, allocations of resources should also be based on plan level of activity, right? Yeah, I mean, to show that their main activities, if they can provide costing for that. Contracting out services to private sector. Okay, this also definitely activities within the cost center. And need to consider non-financial costs as well as other factors. We talk about procurements. Okay, and the following topic will be procurements. So these issues will be elaborated further. Oh, I should have. Right. Oh, okay. So this is better. Okay, another form of cost profit responsibility centers is profit or investment centers. I think these are equally applicable to the Malaysian government. Okay, because we have many GRCs. So mostly I think they are having the investment center status. Okay, Petronas. Okay, profit or investment centers at government level or at agency level, both federal and state government. Okay, under federal government, of course, the major GRC that you can see, I look at those examples. Okay, Samdawi, Petronas, Malaysian Airlines, and I think they have both GLIC and GRCs. But even at the state government, okay, they also establish companies, okay, to help the state government. Even sometimes, if you look at economic development, okay, Islamic economic development or economic development in general, economic development-related agencies, they are in the form of corporations. Okay, I think the biggest one you can see in the state is an example of Johor, isn't it? Johor have what they call it? KPJ, KPJ, kumpulan KPJ, right? And I think they have one, definitely they own, the ownership on the hospital chain, and then all this KFC, Pizza Hut is all under them. Okay, it's also applicable to other states. Okay, so recently, state of Sarawak, they open up, they established subsidiary on a company to look at petroleum activities. So basically working, taking job from Petronas and others. Right, GLICs, JLCs, subsidiaries of statutory bodies. Okay, these are all definitely their status is investment centers. Okay, but if they have a profit and investment center, generally they have more flexibilities. They can take loans from private sector. Okay, the only thing they need approval from the treasury, from the government. Sharing characteristics of private companies with government ownerships and governance. Okay. Competitive advantage to secure public sector procurements, okay, and of course the issue is investment and profit motive, profit objective. That one is GLC. But the only another way to look at it, GLCs they have twin pillars. They of course their main motive is profit maximization. At the same time, they also have to comply and to support government policies. Okay, one of them definitely like environmental policy. So all the GLC, they're supporting government policies. Like even Sam Dhabi, I think went Malaysian government through MIA and as a best practice to issue integrated reporting. I think Sam Dhabi was I think the initiative was from SC, Securities Commission. Okay. So integrated reporting, and Sam Dhabi taking up that as their projects. Okay, it's one of the companies as a pilot companies to initiate integrated reporting. Okay, so you can see that they have profit motive, at the same time they're also supporting government policies. Okay, so I think at this point I even mentioned there are GLICs and GLCs. Okay. Government-linked investment companies and government-linked companies. So I just highlight this because this is also part of structure in the government. As mentioned earlier, this is not main focus of our for the PSA course. Right, creation of responsibility centers within government organizations. Right, so how to create or how to establish a responsibility center. Okay, the rationale behind why a responsibility center is needed. One is increased size of activities, because one the division, okay, let's say the office becomes so busy. There's so many things that they need more flexibilities. In this case, financial flexibility, okay, to manage their operation and their activities. Improving financial management and service delivery. Okay, financial management in terms of because they are processing. They need that level of flexibility financially, rather than if they don't have a responsibility center status, then all financial operation or accounting operation will be done by the accounting unit at the HQ. Okay, so in a way that it's just like when I mentioned to you before. Okay, between you getting, did I ask you that question? Which one do you prefer, to get lump sum money from your parents, or you want your parents to buy from you, for you every time?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So once you receive allocation from your parents, right, you already have a certain level of responsibility center status. Okay. So, but to complete the status as responsibility center, you must report. Okay, you must have financial report. Okay, so if you consider yourself as responsibility center, then you must complete the task as a responsibility center, which is what? From my discussion, you must provide
Report.
Exactly, you must provide financial report or performance report to your funder, okay, or to your parents. I mean, I think if you receive scholarship, you understand this, because every semester, every year, you have to report your academic performance, right? So similarly, if an activity, a center office, or a branch office, okay, for the government, in the government, state level division, right? For them to hold the responsibility centers, then they have this flexibility in a way that will improve their service delivery, because they have that flexibility. They can engage suppliers, they can pay faster, okay? So all this will improve their service delivery, okay? Because it's quite difficult for a center, for the finance department at HQ level to purchase, to do procurements on the behalf of the state level activities, okay? Because the understanding is not as good as if the state level or branch level, they can make that decisions because they understand the need of their target groups. Okay, functions or role, ability to collect revenue, okay, and to pay their expenditures within the authorized limits. Okay, that's the status of responsibility center. Huh? Okay, have own bank account in the case of statutory bodies. Okay, responsibility centers under statutory body, they have bank account. But for department, they don't have bank accounts, huh? Because they receive the form of warrants. So the state office, the accountant general state office, or the district office will pay on their behalf. Huh? Need to prepare internal financial report, basically expenditure report, okay, as I mentioned. The responsibility center is very consistent with flexibility to manage activities, freedom to manage that is supported by the MBS, and definitely still continue until today. Yeah? Okay, budget control, reporting, analysis, and feedback. With expenditure report, managers or responsibility centers are able to manage their budget to achieve budget and organizational objective. Relevant, accurate, and timely report of actual and budgeted expenditures or financial performance, okay, that allows the top management, media, and line managers to monitor their performance. Generally, I think budget allocation, budget performance, okay, expenditure report being reported together with their performance as well. Okay, and and sometimes, of course, there is a big gap in terms of non-financial performance that be undertaken. Okay, if it is not monthly, it can be quarterly. Okay. But it depends on how rigorous the management is. Okay, if the performance report can be generated, okay, daily, okay, weekly, okay, how important it is. But if you look at, I mean, you can see this every day. Yeah, non-financial performance, how well KKM or the Ministry of Health managing COVID. Okay, so you can see the monitoring, they monitor the dashboard for COVID. All right, COVID-related measures, matrices are being reported daily. Okay, and then they have that capability in the Ministry of Health. Okay, so to monitor effectively, and that's one of the major reasons. Okay, they can advise the National Security Council, and they make their strategic decisions at the ministry. Okay, because of the information that they're able to collect. So you can see now clearly that is happening. Okay, so that's how good it is, the system in place. And now become example to the world. Budgets may need to be reviewed or adjusted depending on the reason of the deviations. Thus, operational plan, including transfer by environment between programs, can be undertaken. Okay, so I think with the progress of expenditures monthly, and then by midterm review, okay, the controlling officers can tell already that which program need more support, more financial support than others. Okay, any questions? Oh yes, sir. Okay. Okay, we continue. Okay, budgetary control in Malaysian government organizations, responsibility of budget monitoring. Okay, monitoring primarily undertaken by top management, combination of top management and line managers, or many line managers. Okay, so if you look at this survey, so the big chunk is basically combination, top management involved in the budget monitoring, as well as together working with the line managers. Okay, so line managers here, you can also mention, okay, like state directors, directors at the district level, okay, at the local government level, so work together with the agencies at the federal government. Okay, if you are mainly by top management focusing on strategic direction, if focusing on a combination between top management and line managers to align between strategic and operational priorities, right? So I think because line managers can provide that operational inputs, mainly line managers close to customers' problem and needs. Okay, I think definitely feedback from both parties are equally important. Budget expenditure report to parent ministries and the treasury. Okay, as I mentioned. So what is the mechanism? Expenditure report is submitted to parent ministry and the treasury periodically. Okay, generally is by month. Of course, nowadays the system is an online system. Report prepared and submitted via the FGMS. Okay, the report number is A441. This is what the current practice is. But since it is the transactions are basically processed online. Okay, so you can see that definitely in terms of the relevance and definitely updated and prepared at least once a month. Budget expenditure report for performance monitoring. I mean, to get the idea, so how it will look like, the main one definitely, you must have the column for the items, okay? And definitely at the ministry, I think I show you, you know, the environment in the under MBS. You can see those between program activities and general objects. So you can expect that similar items in the expenditure report. Okay. Of course, for the agency level, it's more towards the items, and if they have the GL, definitely they have all the items, very detailed. Statutory bodies definitely they have full set of accounts, and so there must be account column for allocation and a column for expenditures, and at the end there must be fund balance or budget balance. Okay, so how much budget is left for them to spend? Okay, as I said, in the government generally the first priority to pay for the payment is salary. Okay, so that's why if for activities, you know, at the end of the year, if the budget is fully exhausted, what is left only for the salary, then they will scale down their level of activities. But during COVID, I think we would expect this more environments because the government need to focus on this pandemic. Right, these are the software, the system, accounting, the online, the digital system. Okay, that database able to interface with other external system, flexible for cash and accrual accounting. Okay, GFMS, okay, they can provide both reports based on accrual accounting as well as cash accounting. Later on we'll discuss that government is basically now in transition. Complete budget records, real-time data, okay, increased security, and online single point entry. Okay, so I think now it's quite known. I think everybody knows that government are basically using all these digital technology, okay, to improve their services. Okay, I think this is one of the major programs. Okay, the last time the secretary was Mampu. Okay, Mampu is the unit under Prime Minister Office, basically in charge of public sector reforms. Okay, so they after the 1990s, okay, where they focus on financial and managerial type of reforms. So now after that, they move on e-government. Okay, basically implementing various online system, all these computer systems into the government. Okay, differences between department and state bodies in funding procedures. Department and state bodies, because these two are two major types of government agencies. Okay, so if you look at under the ministries, then you will see departments or statutory bodies because they are an organization by itself. Each one of them. Okay, they have. I think for DGs, for departments, the head is DG, Director General. For statutory bodies, either executive officer or CEO. Okay, so very close. I think the statutory bodies are you know, it's very similar to a corporate company entity, but they're not company, okay? So departments receive budget allocations in the form of warrants. Okay, budget warrants distributed via parent ministry. Controlling officers are chief secretary of parent ministries. Okay, accounts are prepared by accountant general department if they not hold self-accounting bodies. Okay, if the government ministries or department they hold the self-accounting bodies, okay, they prepare their own accounts. Okay, so accountants are being assigned to these ministries and agencies for them to prepare their own accounts. Cannot offset expenditure against revenue. If they collect revenue, all of them directly transferred to the treasury, through the AG. Okay, unlike departments, statutory bodies receive budget allocations in the form of grants. So I put that cash grants, okay? So that you can see clearly, grants mean they receive cash, okay? Just like yourself, you receive cash from your parents, put in your bank account. So similarly, statutory bodies, they receive cash. Grant directly transferred from the treasury to statutory bodies' bank account. Controlling officer is the CEO of the statutory bodies or the board of directors. So statutory bodies generally they have board of directors, okay, and definitely I think the most important also they have chairman. Sometimes chairman also is different person, okay, against the CEO. So that duality in governance is there even in statutory bodies. But statutory bodies they have more flexibilities. They can hire their CEO or their officers directly from the private sector. Okay, unlike departments and ministries, okay, the public servants are appointed by the public service department. Okay, so different source. So they must go through these public service recruitments. Whereas statutory bodies they can hire directly. Okay, self-accounting body status. Okay, and generally they use accrual accounting and able to offset revenue collected against expenditures. Okay. Any question? Make sense, what I just said? Or are you still with me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Not looking at other things. Okay, so one more slide, very fast. Okay, behavioral considerations in budgeting as a general. Goal congruency. Incongruency may lead to departmentalism within public sector organizations. Department compete for resources with little regards for the optimal allocation needed to achieve the objective of the organizations. Okay, that also can create problems. Budgetary slacks. This may lead to inefficiencies and unnecessary spending. Annuality principle less flexible. This may lead to unnecessary spending. Expenses incurred simply because it is in the budget. Because then if that's why it's very important. They have to plan, but otherwise they need to spend the whole thing at the end of the year, because they also have spending, utilizing budget as their financial performance. And no carry forward for unused budget balance. This is particularly true for the ministries and departments, because they receive warrants, they don't receive cash, and then no carry forward. Unused budget balance not utilized, okay, so cannot be forwarded for next year. I think it's part of budgetary control by the parliament. Okay, any question? One, two, three, 4. 5, 6. Okay, any like question? Okay. So I come back to my question. So how many of you will prepare financial reports to your parents?
Never, sir.
No.
Huh? How many of you? Yes. How many of you will
Can
prepare financial reports for the allocation given by your parents so that you can report to them? How many? Silent mean yes or no?
No.
No, sir.
No.
Oh.
But all of you are accounting students. Or maybe never. Maybe you can update them. Okay, instead of preparing the financial statement, you update them. Okay, last month this much I used for this. Okay, and I use something extra. Okay, which is very different than usual. No, sir, they did not ask. Oh, okay. Right? Yeah, right. But responsibility center, they are required. You are right. They are required. Because they receive allocation, they are required to report. Okay? So must comply. Since I'm at home, they ask if I want to buy something. They buy for you. So when you are at home, you are no longer a responsibility center. Okay?
Sir, what if they allocate some amount for us?
Yeah, that's what I'm asking you. Will you report monthly?
I mean, like for me, I would say like every month they allocate some amount for me, and they know that everything I will be doing, it will be in that amount. So I think I don't need to report them because they already know that the expense will be like that.
How do they know? In accounting, we report, isn't it? We prepare report.
Yes, I know. As if in accounting, we are reporting to our seniors or the person in charge. But for family or this, is it essential, sir? I have a question.
Is it essential? No. What I mean is for you to practice. Of course, you cannot practice as responsibility center as in organization. So you consider parents, kids relationship as an institution.
Like, of course, when they ask me what I am doing with those money, then I reply to them that I have done this. But
still, there is
yeah,
not responsibility center. There is responsibility center means there is a frequency of reporting. So as mentioned just now, they have to report monthly on budget report. So you must prepare the accounts monthly and report to them. Even them without asking, you tell them. Do you want to practice? Maybe you practice for this month, all of you. For you to remember budgetary control and responsibility center in public sector. So you prepare account, isn't it?
Yes.
So now you prepare personal account, right? And you prepare account based on just from the air or based on source documents.
Documents.
So for this month, every time you pay, you ask for receipts, and then you prepare the accounts.
Okay, sir. The canteen doesn't provide receipt. Where I'll get those?
Huh?
From the canteen. Like I am spending for food, so they are not providing receipts.
Oh, really? Yeah. So it's not a common practice, huh?
Yeah.
No, this is only a discussion, So yeah, okay. So if you want to reach that level of responsibility center, so you must do that, So how many plan to become to achieve that level of responsibility center between you and your parents? Anyone
Maybe
say
not.
yes?
Maybe, sir.
Sorry?
Sometimes.
Sometime.
Because like personally for me, for like my allowance, they usually parents don't ask when they give you the allowance, but It's different when I ask them for money. Let's just say that I'm going out with friends or something, and then I ask them for money. Then they would expect I will go back and report lah. Like I'll give the receipts and say I spend this much and then how much balance I have to give back and everything.
Okay. Right. Yeah. Yes, I mean, of course, we don't, as generally do that, but I just, to highlight so that you can feel what does it mean, what is responsibility center, and with the responsibility center status, okay, what is a mechanism to make sure that it works. So there is an ability to monitor, because if there is no expenditure reports, there's no way to monitor. Okay, how well the progress, particularly when the information, both financial and non-financial information, to be provided. Okay, so generally good organizations, right? I'm talking about both private, public sector. I think all organizations, even the NGO. Certain NGO, how rigorous they collect performance information. Some of them, even definitely weekly, okay, weekly performance information. So what they achieve, how they spend their activities, right? So how rigorous it is at all level of from the lower level of activities up to the top. So that's how it is, to make sure that things are moving in the right direction. So reporting is very key, okay? And quality of the reporting is very key, okay? So the availability of evidence, people report the actual, so that's why evidence is important. All that like accounting, isn't it? If you go to an organization, you can see that there can be lapses or limitations in the reporting. So this is your job to make sure that you need to establish those systems in place. Okay, so establishing a system can be challenging as well. Particularly, that's why the support from the top for you to be able to justify how important it is in light of value for money, in light of better management, in light of better use of resources. Okay, any questions? No, enough. Okay, so I have no question. Then make sure for this month you prepare the expenditure report.
There's question in the chat, sir.
Sorry? Yeah, Brother Izzul.
Someone asked in the chat.
Can the government agencies use the balance from allocated budget for other than proposed program just to maximize it? Oh, the balance from the allocated. For other than proposed program just to maximize it. If they can justify, they can. Of course, okay, as we discussed, at ministry level, they have multiple programs. Okay, so they can transfer the budget from unspent balance to areas that more needed. Okay, they have to justify. It's possible, but of course, I mean, you must remember, all programs are approved programs. They are there, already approved as part of activities to be supported by the government. Okay, by the budget should be provided. It's just that for that year or possibly for that period, the budget is insufficient to support their activities. So they can transfer and use for others. Okay, so it's possible. Is that all? Agree or disagree? Sister Aiman? Sister brother or brother? Oh, okay. All right. So if no other questions, I end this session.
Sir, I have one question regarding the Meet. Like, we'll be following the same style as for the past semester, like writing and scanning.
Oh, yes. Yes, at this point, I'm still thinking of that, basically writing and then scan and submit. But the exam will be on modular exam, so question by question. So you submit question, give you question, you answer, and you submit, and then I'll give another set of questions. So at this point, because it's 1.5, so most likely there are 3 questions. Okay, 3 questions, but I think it will be reasonable for to answer.
30 minutes each.
Yes, kind of 30 minutes each, or maybe 20 minutes, 5-10 minutes for the submission. Yeah.
Cause last time for audit 2, so our ma'am supposed to take the final like that. Then she changed it to like she will be giving the all questions at a time. Then we submit it after 2 hours or 3 hours.
Yeah, but we face problem with that. Then I think the department is already decided we'll use modular. But of course, I mean, will be. I think certain subject already used modular before. So, but this time we also use modular. Okay. I mean, because the need there, right? But we learn each other. No worry.
Okay.
I myself will be new as well, but I think in terms of scan and submit and use of GC to download your question and to submit your question, I think everybody is comfortable, isn't it?
Comfortable, but sometimes the net is not stable. Like I was listening to lecture now, sometimes it's drop.
Okay, agree. But of course, I mean, if you face any problem, you can inform me quickly. I mean, through WhatsApp and all that. Then, of course, I can accommodate. It's not an issue.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
All right. Okay, so no question. I will end this with wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. If anyone would like to discuss, I think there is a group want to see me after this. Okay, you can stay back. Okay. So with that, I end this session.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.